Have you ever thought about what would be your 5 favourite drivers of all time? Well, today, being that this is the last video in our Golfbidder driver mini-series, and we'll link to all the others in the description below, I thought it would be fun to come out here onto the golf course and bring with me my 5 favourite drivers ever. Now, I've trawled through the Golfbidder warehouse, I've packed them all into my beautiful Mizuno kilo bag. So what we'll do is, we'll head up to a tee box where I shall reveal all. At number 5 on my list will be the Callaway Big Bertha Titanium 454 from 2004. Now, if you're a 40-something like me, it's a bit of a no-brainer that a Big Bertha would be on your driver list. When I was a young kid, everyone on tour used a Big Bertha. Monty couldn't miss a fairway with one. They were gorgeous, they were innovative, you could hit it a mile. And in 2004, Callaway brought out this Big Bertha Titanium 454, which was basically taking all the best bits of the original, putting them into a really big-headed driver, 454 cc's, and just letting rip. The interesting thing about this one was a guy called Dave Mobley took one of these to the World Long Drive Championships that year, and he actually won with a drive of 377 yards. Not bad for 2004. Big Bertha was always going to be on my list. It's number 5, the Callaway Big Bertha Titanium 454. Number 4 on my list is going to be the Nike Vapor Fly driver. Now, I've chosen this one because I wanted to be representative of Nike as a whole when they were in the golf equipment business. And the Vaporfly was really the last one off the line. Tony Finau got his first PGA Tour win with one of these in 2016. And they basically threw the kitchen sink at it. I mean, look at how good it is. Look at the face, look at the amazing crown, look at the big compression channel, the bracing, it's adjustable. You know, I don't think we realised how good Nike drivers were until they were gone. So, I couldn't have a top 5 list without giving Nike a mention. This is loud, it's out there, but you know what? It's iconic, and Nike drivers were really, really good. Number 4 on my list. Having a rummage around, having a rummage for number 3 on my list. Here it is. I've chosen the Ping G410 driver. Now, in reality, I could have chosen any Ping driver going back to the Answer driver from 2012, because if you're an equipment nerd like me and like all of us in Golfbidder, you'll know that Ping solved the equation for moment of inertia or stability or straight drives back with their Answer in 2012, and they were so enamored with it and knew that they had basically got the golden ticket, that every driver since has been just a tiny evolution. I mean, why mess with carbon when they've solved all their problems with titanium? And they've got a huge market share. They have 10, 11 wins every year on the PGA Tour on average. I just chose the Ping G410 because I like it. It basically sums up everything that Ping is great at, and it has adjustability in the head here. But it's the Ping G410, but it could be any Ping driver going back to the Answer. Number 3 on my list, the Ping G410. Equipment nerds know how good Ping are. I was actually searching for tissues here because I might get emotional talking about my number 2 favourite driver of all time. And it's the Titleist 907 D2 driver. Now, not only do I think that this is the most beautiful, cosmetically driver that I have ever seen in my working life in Golfbidder, I still think when I see it today that it just outclasses everything else. The head shape, the colour scheme, the hosel, the way it sits behind the ball, and the way it performed was absolutely brilliant. But I have an emotional attachment to this too, because in 2007 I undertook a charity project where I went around Ireland. There's 32 counties, so we picked the best course in every county. So we played 32 rounds in 32 counties in 32 days. We raised €100,000. We gave it to cancer charities and hospitals, and it was just a very emotional time for me. But the 907 D2 driver was the driver that came around with me. So not only do I think it looks beautiful, it's cosmetically fantastic, it was a brilliant performing club, but I have an emotional attachment, as we probably all do, to one driver in our lifetime. So number 2 on my list is the Titleist 907 D2. Now, before I get to my number 1 choice, my favourite driver of all time, I want to have an honourable mention category, and in that category I want to place Cobra, because throughout my time in Golfbidder, all the years I've been here and meeting engineers and designers and going to the PGA show, I think that Cobra have been the most innovative And I think over the next number of years, they're going to really emerge as one of the top driver brands. I've got here the King Limited Pro. I took this one out because this is 5 going on 6 years old, and Bryson DeChambeau still uses this driver to outpunch everyone else on the PGA Tour. That's how good this driver is. And my current driver is the Rad Speed. I just think it's phenomenal. And the big thing about this driver is just the build quality is so amazing on it. It's simple, there's not much for me to adjust. It has movable weights and stuff, but I don't really bother with them. I just put the heavyweight at the front. But it's the quality of the driver. I absolutely love it, and it hits it further than I can hit it further than anything I've ever used in the past. So honorable mention and well done to Cobra. They're the great innovators, and I'm really looking forward to see where they go from here. Now in my bag, there's only one driver left with a cover on, and that is my favorite driver of all time. Not only my favorite driver of all time, I think it's the best driver that was ever made to date. And it is the original TaylorMade M2 driver from 2016. Why do I think it's the best? Well, we know all the people that are involved in the golf industry, like it's our job, and we know that this followed a really tough time for TaylorMade. Jet Speed and Slider hadn't gone well. The company was in trouble, really, and normally these companies have 3, 4, 5 drivers planned in advance down the line, and they kind of drip feed their release into the market. But such was their need to turn things around, they had to go to their very best driver. They hadn't planned to release this thing for way down the line, but they were forced to kind of look to the M1 and M2 to change the fortunes of the company, and boy did it work. The tour players took to it straight away. It looked amazing, the carbon, the titanium, it was just a fantastic driver, and still is to this day. Richard Bland won at the Belfry in 2021, his 478th tour start with this original M2 driver. My favourite driver of all time, I think the best club ever made, the TaylorMade M2. So there you go, guys, my favourite drivers of all time, counted down, plus an honourable mention. Now make sure, as I said at the start, to check out all the other videos in our driver mini-series. We'll link to them all in the description. And of course you can keep up with us daily on our Golfbidder socials, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. For me for now though, it's Donal, out.